This is my first time to use the English to express my opinion in relating to the coming regional national security law to be imposed in Hong Kong. Before going to the issues of the national security law, I would like to explain the history background about this. In 19th centuries, the British merchants import a lot of opium into China in exchange of the silver coins. This is because there are so many young Chinese are becoming addicted to the drug. Therefore, besides the outflow of the silver coin, the Chinese government noticed that it is a very important issue which will be seriously harmful to development of China. Therefore, he sent a senior officer to be the governor of the Canton, Lim Jiak-chui. The Chinese government passed a law to prohibit the import of opium. Of course, the British is very unhappy. They reflect the worry and the opinion to the Queen of the UK, Elizabeth. The UK government formally requests the Chinese government to let them continue their business. Of course, that is what rejected by the Chinese government, and they used the force to seize all the opium, and also they did not allow the British merchant ships to be embarked in any harbor of China. Then the war started. What we call is the Opium War. Of course, the Chinese government was defeated by the British. Under the coercion and the threat of the military force of the British, the Chinese government had no choice but to sign a Nanjing Treaty. In the Nanjing Treaty, Hong Kong was ceded to the British forever. And later on, the British also asked the Chinese government to sign a really long-term tenants agreement to rent the Kowloon Peninsula and the new territory to British government for a time of up to the 1997 30 June. This is the history of the Hong Kong. This is because the tenants agreement was still on 1997 30 June. The British government tried to ask for the extension from China, of course rejected by Deng Xiaoping, the head of the Chinese government. Finally, both countries signed an Anchorage Declaration. In that joint declaration, there's three major parts. The first part is that the British government agreed to return Hong Kong and Kowloon and new territories to China on 30 June 1997. As the joint declaration was signed on 1983, that still have 13 years ago, and the Chinese government agreed that during this period, the UK government still have the right to rule the colony, but subject to certain restraints. These restraints are to be put in the annex of the joint declaration, Annex 3. Firstly, the colony government cannot sell more than 50 hectares land every year, and all the proceeds of sales must be earmarked for project development in Hong Kong. All the expenses are limited. This is in order to control or to prevent the UK government from abusing the resources of the colony. The purpose of this annex is to prevent UK government from abusing all the resources of Hong Kong and just return back empty government to China. The second part is the promise by the Chinese government. The Chinese government promised that all the existing system, no matter legal system or anything else, remain unchanged for 50 years. That's why Hong Kong is still using common law and the international accounting standard and so on. I must emphasize that what remain unchanged is the living standard, living style, legal system remain unchanged. It doesn't mean the Chinese government have no authority or no right to interfere or control the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. It means that the Hong Kong people can still have the right to protest, right of freedom of speech, so and so, everything unchanged. The second part is to set up a Joint Liaison Committee. The function of Joint Liaison Committee is to ensure the process of the return of the Hong Kong is going smoothly, and also a kind of a monitoring function. As I said before, any expenses amount or sale of land, if it exists agreed quantity, that should be approved and consented by both parties. That is the function of the Joint Liaison Office. And this office will continue working until 31st December 2000, but later on extended to 2003. And after that, the third part is that any treaties or sales of land or auctions signed by the colonial government still valid, and then the Chinese government will recognize that. The lease of lands will be up to 2047, and after that will charge an additional rate, just like this. The final part is the UK part. The UK part only has 4 points. The first point is that all the citizens of Hong Kong who hold the BNO will have no resident right in the UK, just a travel document. Secondly, any person born after 1997 30 June will have no right to apply the BNO. The third, if any person who is holding a BNO passport and then they have baby born before 1997 and still can have the right to apply the BNO. The fourth section is that the BNO holder still have the right to ask for the embassy protection in the overseas countries. Just 4 sections. If you have heard all the things I said before, you will find that this joint declaration serves a very important purpose. It's a surrender of a lease. Because the UK is an illegal owner. Why I say illegal owner? According to English law, the law of contract, any treaties Any contract signed under coercion, under duress, is totally invalid. The UK government used their strong military force and pressed the Chinese government to sign such unfair treaties. According to the English law, it is invalid and unenforceable. That's why what I said, the UK government is illegal occupant, illegal tenant. This joint declaration is a surrender of the lease, just return the Hong Kong to the Chinese government. And overall, the document has no any article, section or subsection to state that the UK government still have any residual right to interfere in the matters of Hong Kong. As to the affirmation and protection granted by the Chinese government, it is the purpose of the Chinese government to comfort the Hong Kong citizens and minimize the instability of the situation. Therefore, if anyone say that the joint declaration is still valid or still have the right, it's no different from a bullshit. Finally, the Chinese government honors their promise because they enact a basic law. All the contents in the joint declaration was transferred to the basic law and in more details. Therefore, any promise by the Chinese government contained in the joint declaration has been transferred to the basic law. That's why I said joint declaration is only a historical document. No any legal effect at all. In this episode, I already give you summarized the picture of the joint declaration. In the coming episode, I will explain in detail the content of the basic law. After that, you will understand more and you will know really whether the national security law have infringed any international covenant or not.